story from Dolomite, and we're talking all about the decks that they are building and coming up. See you guys right after this. All right, guys, welcome back. We're here with Adam, Nucky, and Corey Kaplan, co-founders of Dolomite. That's dolomite.io. You can check out their website and their Twitter handle, Dolomite_IO. Check it out. Wanted to say, these guys are making a great decentralized exchange, a DEX, and it's built on Loopring. They've got some hardware wallet integration, MetaMask stuff. We're going to talk all about that. I just want to say welcome to the Daily Exchange.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Guys, tell us, about Dolomite Exchange. What gave you the motivation to build it?
Really, we took a look at the decentralized exchange space, and we saw that it was full of copycats, really. That's kind of how we saw it, in that except for the color scheme and the layout and the assets listed, they give essentially the same set of features between every exchange. So we wanted to take the decentralized exchange experience and bring it to the next level. We wanted to see what can we add to it, how can we make it more appealing to a broader audience, and how can we make it easier to use, more streamlined, more powerful.
Awesome. And let's bring up this video, because we've got a clip for you guys out there, the community guys. Check this out. It's a bit of a video on how Dolomite works. It's pretty cool. I've checked it out. Let's punch it.
Introducing Dolomite, an advanced but easy-to-use decentralized cryptocurrency exchange and digital asset manager built on the Loopring protocol. Built by traders, for traders, Dolomite provides a powerful exchange that works right from your wallet. As you trade, you can be sure that your tokens are safe, as Dolomite requires no deposits or withdrawals. Tokens remain in your wallet, and trades are conducted on-chain. Trade dozens of tokens, utilizing real-time market data to make informed decisions. Track up-to-the-minute price movement with TradingView, an industry-standard charting tool providing in-depth technical analysis and other trading essentials. Dolomite combines our depth chart with our pending orders to provide you with an extensive order book that's both useful and easy to work with. Keep tabs on your open orders at a glance and quickly view details of your active and past trades. Don't like trading experiences revolving around Ethereum pricing? At the click of a button, Dolomite allows you to view the exchange in its entirety in terms of US dollars and other currencies. With Dolomite, submitting decentralized orders is as easy as submitting orders on any centralized exchange. Token allowances are checked and set if needed. Ethereum is wrapped if you haven't already done so, and the order is submitted. Regardless of your cryptocurrency experience, whether it be from trading on a centralized or decentralized exchange, Dolomite's portfolio management tools are for you. With just your public address, one click will introduce you to your very own comprehensive portfolio. Every token transfer and Ethereum transaction you've ever conducted is displayed nearly instantaneously. Through the tracking of thousands of tokens, our portfolio management tools enable you to view your token balances with ease and effortlessly track the performance of your holdings with a real-time visualization of your portfolio. Dolomite's streamlined experience and sleek design make decentralized exchanges and portfolio management more accessible than ever. Reach the pinnacle of investing with Dolomite.
All right, guys, that's some sick hype video there. I love that stuff. All right, tell us, what gave you guys the motivation to build the platform? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so prior to building Dolomite...
Actually, we just asked you that. I'm off point today, guys. I'm off point. We've been punching out videos all week. It's out of control. Let's move on from that, because we talked a bit about that. Let's talk about the decentralized exchange marketplace and how it's sitting right now. You said a lot of people were copycats. Tell us what makes Dolomite stand out.
A lot of the additional features we offer on both the exchange side and, as you saw in the video, the portfolio side of things. So on the exchange side, we try and make it streamlined, try and make it easier to use for people who are familiar with centralized exchanges. So features like being able to view everything in US dollars. And that just doesn't mean something, we mean literally everything. You could place orders in US dollar amounts. So if you want to trade $200 worth of a token, you could just write $200. Similarly, we abstract away processes like wrapping your Ethereum or proving tokens, which can be difficult concepts for people who are used to centralized exchanges and never have to deal with that. And then on the portfolio management side, that's where we really bring in this large set of data that has portfolio, it has blockchain and market data. We combine that all, and it means you could go to that site, you could give it your wallet address, and within a couple seconds it's loaded a portfolio graph. You can see down to the minute data on your performance, what you hold, your transactions, everything. It's really the most powerful one that we've seen on the market, and we think it really users will like that.
That's cool. I like that. Okay, and you guys do have KYC and AML?
Yes, we do. And so Dolomite, we're very proud to say this is the first decentralized exchange to make a multi-tiered KYC process. So what that means is we broke down our KYC process into 4 separate tiers, all incremental. And so essentially people, when they first visit the site, need to give us very minimal information just to start trading, as opposed to other exchanges that require users to give literally all their information, including social security number, driver's license, government issued ID, et cetera, to start trading. Whereas for us, give us your name, email address, and date of birth. You can start trading up to $300 a day just like that. And then give in other bits of information, and then it then increments up to no trading limits.
Wow.
So really want to make it flexible because a lot of people are uneasy with giving away all that information just to get started. And so because of that, we want to make it really, really simple.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we have to do KYC. One of the great things about blockchain decentralization is the lack of having the lack of sign up, the lack of barriers to entry. However, we're really looking to operate within the U.S. We want to have U.S. users be able to trade without having to use a VPN or anything like that. So you got to play ball with the U.S. You got to be able to be regulatorily compliant, and we're trying to make sure we're in line with all regulations. So we're in good standing with every agency.
Cool. Just adding to that real quick, one of the things that Adam mentioned was VPNs. A lot of the DEXs that are operating outside the U.S. unfortunately just don't support U.S. users because of this issue. And so because of that, when you try going there, it says that the region is unsupported, and you have to use a VPN in order to access it then.
Right. Fantastic. And so with the website, it says you guys have low fees. Let's talk a little bit about that. And just a bit of background, we are going to come up with this, guys, in a sec, is the actual DEX itself is built on Loopring, which is, we're going to talk about that as, I guess, a protocol for exchanging tokens. It's supported on Ethereum, Neo, and Quantum.
Yep.
So 2 questions in that. Tell us about the fees, and do you pay them in Loopring or do you pay them in Ethereum? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the fees are kind of structured into 2 phases, we'll say. The first phase during our open beta, they're paid in Loopring's token, and they're split to be 0.2% from both the maker and taker, because version 1 of Loopring doesn't allow us to differentiate between the 2 of those. And then during our created version 2, which is going to be around April of this year when we launch that live, it's going to be 0.1% for the maker, 0.3% for the taker, so we can incentivize those market makers. And those will be paid in wrapped Ethereum. So the idea behind it is that at first, we kind of see trading with Loopring's token as a fee, as a hindrance, because people have to go and buy this third-party token and hold it in their wallet in order to trade. However, Ethereum is much more of a standard or a universal currency on the Ethereum platform, of course. And so with that, people being able to pay with wrapped Ethereum is really important for us in the long run.
Okay. Tell us about, can people use bots on Dolomite?
Definitely. We really want to encourage that. We think it's important to trading volume. 50% of volume is from bots. So we've built the back end of Dolomite to be very friendly for this. We're going to have a very user-friendly API. It's going to be well documented, and it's going to be really built to encourage bots.
Cool. And how are you guys sort of planning on attracting market makers?
Yeah, so we're planning on working closely with Loopring as well as making bots ourselves that either are added to already open source trading bots that are out there, as well as contacting people in the cryptocurrency community that have built bots to integrate Dolomite on top of there, building N+1 more markets into it so people can start trading with better volume and better price arbitrage. Okay.
And what about advanced trading features like special orders and things like that? Have you guys got some sort of plans around that?
Yeah, so with the start of Dolomite, we really want to keep it simple. We're just doing limit orders for right now, but in the future, we're going to be incorporating shorting tokens, as well as futures contract trading in there too, which will be really cool. Wow.
That's incredible. What about cross-chain trading, I guess atomic swaps? Do you guys have some plans around that?
Yeah, so we kind of have two separate plans around that potentially, and one of them really heavily revolves around Loopring. So when Loopring launches their side chain that's going to be later this year, there should be capability for us in the future to list other assets on top of it that are from other blockchains. And so that'll be the way for us to enable cross-chain trading.
Okay.
We have a couple other things that we have in mind in case it doesn't work out the way that we intend or plan for it. Because the big thing we're trying to balance is not just the capability for us to do cross-chain trading, but also the user experience. If it's too complicated for users to do, in a lot of ways it might as well not exist because people won't utilize it or utilize it enough.
Okay. Yesterday we had Simon Lapsher from Liquality, and he was talking about, we talked a little bit about wrapped Bitcoin, and we noticed you guys are, I guess, one of the members of the wrapped Bitcoin movement, which is really cool. Movement? Network? Depends what you want. Organization.
There you go.
And he was of the opinion that because WBTC, so wrapped Bitcoin, isn't real Bitcoin, I guess it's held in a fund, in a third-party fund, and it goes against Bitcoin's core ideals. He said, and I quote, "It really negates all things Bitcoin was built to do." And we've got a clip here, Joel, if you want to spin up for everyone to watch from yesterday's show. Check it out, guys, as well.
Many different levels of centralization, and basically that's what the DEX world has come to, because they want to make it efficient. They want to be able to compete with centralized exchanges, and they're putting centralized layers in the middle, which completely negates the whole value proposition.
Right. So DEX is not quite DEX. not the decentralized as we thought. Okay. So basically, Simon was basically talking about this. These claims. It negates all the things Bitcoin was built to do. What do you guys think about that?
So we definitely see what he's saying at first. However, it's important to realize what stage wrapped Bitcoin is at. It's easy to knock it because it's in its infancy right now. It just started. The DAO for it was just created. But just like any good decentralization, it needs some training wheels at first. And those training wheels are centralization. I'm going to draw from an example that I like to reference, and this is Cardano. While they were developing Ouroboros, which is their proof-of-stake mechanism, Cardano was inherently centralized, and IOHK was the company or organization responsible for running their blockchain. And it still is right now, as of this date. Okay. However, in the future, it's going to be run by anyone in the network, making it inherently decentralized. We kind of see wrapped Bitcoin in the same light right now, because it's run by a couple small parties, essentially. But in the future, the addition of new members to their DAO and the beefing up of the custodians basically acting as the people holding the wrapped Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin itself that then issue the wrapped Bitcoin, will be extremely important for kind of like taking the training wheels off, so that people basically see, okay, it's run as a decentralized, truly decentralized organization, and then it's basically used as a means to just bring Bitcoin over to the Ethereum ecosystem.
Yes. Okay. All right. Awesome. And I guess another big thing is Binance just in recent years started accepting credit card payments, which is, I think, very interesting in and of itself. Daily limits of $20,000 and a monthly of $50,000 apply. It has a flat 3.5% fee and a minimum spend of $10. And I guess what's interesting is a lot of DEXs don't have this fiat on-ramping. Do you guys sort of have any plans to get into that space or get fiat into a DEX?
We do. We definitely see that as a roadblock to using DEXs, is that you have to go to something like Coinbase first and then transfer it to your own wallet and then use the DEX, which is why we've partnered up with Wire, W-Y-R-E, to do a fiat on-ramp to allow people to bring crypto or bring fiat traded for crypto right into their wallet. And luckily for also less than the fee that you mentioned, only 0.75% as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's actually even lower for DAI. So just to clarify that, if users want to buy crypto from their bank account using Wire on Dolomite, it costs 0.75%. If they want to go and buy Ethereum, put it right into their wallet. If they want to buy DAI, which is a US dollar stablecoin, then you'll be able to buy it for 0.25%, even lower right now. I think that's promotional though, so it's not going to last forever. So jump on that quickly if you're interested.
Okay.
We definitely see this as essential to growing the adoption of decentralized exchanges.
Okay. Now, I guess in terms of volume, decentralized exchanges haven't obviously been the biggest volume. They are the biggest, most of the biggest dApps, but when it comes to those platforms. And we'll talk about Loopring in a sec, guys, because I think it's important to get into that. But tell us, what are sort of your plans on bringing that, that volume and that mainstreamness to Dolomite?
So we want to basically take it in phases. At first, we really want to make sure we work out the kinks in the platform, both technically and user experience, so that people are really coming to Dolomite and really enjoying what they're going through on there. And once we kind of work those out, we're really going to focus on bootstrapping liquidity, sort of at the same time, but then really focus on market making and making really robust markets and trading tools, such that bots can get on there and start trading with higher frequency. And then as more liquidity and more people are trading on the platform, it'll basically attract more people on there. It's like network effects at that point.
It's very chicken and egg. People don't want to go on an exchange that has no volume, and therefore it's not going to get volume easily. It has to be built up over time as we see it. It's not going to be built in a day, but we think we could build up volume as people come over to the decentralized exchange ecosystem. And I think anyone using any decentralized exchange helps all decentralized exchanges. I think we're kind of all in it together.
Yeah.
Sure. And you guys are built on Loopring, so let's talk a little bit about that. It's a decentralized trading protocol. I think you guys have suggested it's a bit like 0x to some extent. It includes the blockchains Ethereum, Quantum, and Neo. And this is becoming quite popular as well. I think we've got a little video here as well for you guys about Loopring. Joel, if you want to spin that DJ.
Cryptocurrency is your thing. We get it. You're a forward thinker, dreaming of decentralization, because traditional institutions can't always be trusted. We all know that blockchain technology is safe, but the centralized exchanges are riddled with danger. Have you ever thought about hackers, bad management, or that guy with that really lame password? With a world full of binary bandits, your digital dough is under threat. The Loopring protocol bypasses every issue with the exchange because it doesn't use one. Instead, everything happens through your own wallet, meaning your crypto assets are never out of sight. So it's transparent and secure. Orders are managed off-chain, requiring fewer blockchain transactions and storage. This means better price, higher liquidity, and faster trading speed as artificial intelligence takes over and the cyber economy grows. Loopring is getting ready to power the value exchange between AI-powered smart agents as well as humans. Anonymous, automated, secure, without fail. Decentralization as it should be.
All right, so just a bit about Loopring, obviously, that gives you a bit of background. It's a protocol for token exchange, we talked about that. And it's deployed into a blockchain and operates as an off-chain order book with an on-chain settlement. Now, I guess there were lots of, with Relay, with 0x, there's, a few different exchanges in terms of how that operated. It seems like for Loopring, this is a very interesting development. What you guys are, being the decentralized exchange to some extent of Loopring is a big deal in my mind. For sure. Which is awesome. And obviously it's got order sharing, which is really cool as well. I guess what I was going to ask was, what made you guys choose Loopring as your protocol?
Yeah, so when we were looking at the decentralized exchange environment, we saw user experience as one of the biggest issues. And in order to get a lot of volume and a lot of users on top of them, we needed the experience to mimic that of centralized exchanges as much as possible. And we saw the capabilities of Loopring early on as the DEX protocol to do so. On top of that, we found their engineers to be tremendously talented. They were building really great stuff early on. They had a really, really strong vision. And so mixing and matching those things with how well Adam and I really meshed with the founder of, one of the co-founders of Loopring, but the CEO, Daniel Wang, we got along really well. We understood each other. We can communicate very well. Those things also played very much so in part with us selecting them.
That's good, yeah. So it's a good cultural vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Now, Loopring just launched to version 2.0 with some improvements. Tell us about that and the improvements on the platform. What happened there?
Yeah, so the upgraded version 2 for Loopring is extremely important. They did a couple of different things that makes their platform much more versatile, and they're the first protocol to really do this sort of thing, which is being able to pay for fees without using their native token, Loopring. We see, as I mentioned before, the Loopring token, just like how 0x has their token, as a big hindrance to trading because you have to own their token to start trading. It's not necessarily a native thing to do so. And so the upgrade for it basically allows users to pay for the fee with any token, but behind the scenes there's basically a tax that companies like ours pay for that tax with Loopring's token behind the scenes. Right. So that process of the user having to do this complicated thing of owning their token is completely abstracted away, and they don't need to worry about it at all, which is great.
Wow.
On top of that, they're doing a similar open order book model that 0x does, where the orders can be stored directly on the blockchain, which is pretty great as well. As well as they introduce a broker aspect to it as well. So you can designate a broker to trade on your behalf and be able to conduct all the trading pretty easily that way. So they're basically making the platform much more versatile, and they're truly working at it from a protocol perspective of trying to make things as flexible and easy for their companies on top of them to run things.
Okay.
They're not trying to be a company, they're trying to truly be a protocol, which is great, and they're very receptive to feedback.
Okay. Now, with the I guess Loopring and the benefit itself is this order book sharing. Well, let's clarify that. What do you see the benefits of using Loopring in terms of for a DEX?
So the order sharing aspect of it is definitely really important, and it's a huge part of our long-term vision. Ideally, we can work with other companies that have similar regulatory stances that we do, such that if we trust each other and we're able to share some kind of KYC information as necessary, then essentially we'd be able to share orders amongst each other. Instead of acting like silos, we can actually share orders in real time between each other. So one of the great things with Loopring is that you have the flexibility of choosing if you want to share your orders via the blockchain with their open order books, or do things much more in real time and match centralized exchange performance and behavior by sharing stuff behind the scenes with their own servers. And so that aspect of it definitely is centralized, but the important thing with Loopring, with the way that Dolomite's trying to use it and the way that it's kind of best set up to be used, is not decentralization with how the orders are censored, but rather how users are able to maintain control of their funds the entire way of the trading process.
Okay. That's awesome. And does that mean Loopring also brings in new liquidity and market makers as well?
Yeah, definitely. So with the fact that Loopring itself is its own ecosystem, and the fact that they're working with other partners that are separate from 0x and other people in the cryptocurrency ecosystem, means that this is new money coming in and new capabilities for trading as well that weren't necessarily there or weren't being exploited enough to be taken advantage of.
Okay, really cool. Now, I guess there are obviously more chains coming up. Zilliqa just launched its mainnet as well, which is a large blockchain which just scales to lots and lots of transactions. But obviously, it seems like, how would you say the development of Loopring is progressing? Like, how have you found its progress? It's since working with those guys.
Yeah. So the progress with them has been great. I mean, they have this mentality of they're going to put their heads down and just work, and they're not picking their heads up until whatever it is they're working on is done. And so because of that, they aren't necessarily doing a crazy amount of marketing right now because they're very product focused, which is great from our perspective because in my personal opinion, Loopring is much better suited as an advertisement to companies and developers than it is for everyday people that are just trying to trade. Okay. It's more of like the wiring behind the TV set. Yeah. And so because of that, their perspective that they're taking with product development is essential for us to be able to adapt quickly and be able to take advantage of it, as quickly as possible.
Okay, very cool. Now, in terms of just taking a bit of a turn with Dolomite, how do you guys see Dolomite and centralized exchanges? And I think yesterday, we had these, I guess, order matching with liquidity. I guess let's talk specifically to start with Dolomite versus sort of centralized exchanges, and where do you sort of see those different positionings going?
We definitely see the growth of decentralized exchanges compared to centralized exchanges. There are a lot of people out there who have seen the hacks that have gone on with these centralized exchanges. There have been billions stolen, and they want the security. They want control of their assets, especially if you're going to be using any other DApp and you need to have your crypto in your personal wallet. But that's the biggest draw of decentralized exchanges as we see it. It's control of assets and security. And if someone can make that easy to use for users, we think we'll see large adoption, and we think we're the people to make it easy to use, to bring it to a larger market. I don't think centralized exchanges will ever truly go away. Some people do like having someone else handle their assets. They like someone else to take custodianship, but unless it's well regulated and insured, we think that having the security and control is really important.
Yeah. Obviously a bit of news as well. BitGrail and its Nano saga has now been cleared up. Tell us, how are you guys approaching sort of security and preventions against hacking? I guess that's security in and of itself. With your DEX.
Biggest thing is we never hold anyone's assets. It stays in your personal wallet the entire time you're using Dolomite. You could even place an order and leave the site. That we don't hold it in any smart contract or anywhere else. The order will go through if your crypto's still in your wallet, but you're free to take it out of your wallet if you really wanted to. And we see that as the biggest step towards security, is that if you're in control of your assets, you're in control of your own security. You could use secure hardware wallets. You could use any of your own safe practices to make sure that your assets are secure.
Okay. And now coming up, tell us about the roadmap of Dolomite. Like, what are you guys working on?
Yeah, we got several things coming up. Short term, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing our open beta. We'll be able to get people on, get people trading, trying out the platform. Currently,
so just to confirm with everyone, just explain open beta versus closed beta. What is
that?
Yeah,
we've been in closed beta for a couple months now, so it's been a limited list of users with their own logins who have had access, and that's mainly been on refining features of the platform, less on volume. We really want to make sure everything is smooth, every feature is easy to use, there's no sharp edges on anything. And so open beta, it will still be developing. We'll be listening to feedback is really the biggest part of it. Users will be on, they'll know that it's not necessarily a complete platform, but every feature is there, every feature works. But we think we can take it and we can make it better based on feedback. And that's the biggest part of the open beta. After that, we'll be moving on to our full launch, but we've got other releases along the way. We've got all the market data that we've collected. It has a lot of depth, a lot of breadth, both in blockchain and market data. We're going to be offering that up through our own Slate market API. Coming up, we'll also be releasing a competitor to MetaMask, a MetaMask killer, if you will. Really just improving in a lot of ways that we've seen that the community has been looking for but haven't been implemented in MetaMask, and really to optimize it for platforms like Dolomite, decentralized exchanges. And then further down the road, even in the future, we're looking at bigger, bolder things. We're looking at tokenized securities, tokenized commodities of real-life commodities, and trading that all on the blockchain. We really see that as the future of decentralized trading.
And how do you guys build your stuff? Like, are you guys coders yourself? Tell us about your team.
Yeah, so Adam and I are both technical founders. We're both engineers. I'm working much more on the servers. Adam's much more on the front end or the website aspect of it. We got a pretty strong team consisting of about 12 or so engineers or so. A number of people on marketing as well. Between that, we're very product focused right now. The marketing team's been working very closely with the engineers to work on the delivery of how we talk about the product, as well as the what our long-term image is going to really be. Yeah. And likewise for that.
I was going to say, we also, in terms of the marketing, we really see that the crypto space is full of hype, but not people delivering. Yeah. We wanted to make sure we were very product first. We wanted to build it. We wanted to work. We want all the features there before we really start trying to spout off about it and talk too much. We like to back it up. We like to have people experience the product. We think that's the best advertising.
Great. That's really cool. Now, you said just before, about tokenizing assets in the future. Do you see everything being tokenized, every asset?
Not necessarily every asset, but we do see a lot of things being tokenized. The big thing is, which country are you looking at and what's the benefits of doing so? With some places it's way cheaper to do it, it's way quicker, or it's safer because of security issues or trust issues. It depends on who's the one administering it as well. So kind of a political answer to it, but largely we do see a lot of things being tokenized because there are large inherent benefits of doing so. Okay.
Now, with the DEX itself, you guys obviously being coders, tell us about, I guess auto matching is crucial, right, in terms of what sort of languages are you sort of opting for these days? What's the latest in coding languages and sort of stack for auto matching?
Yeah, so on the back end, we're using something called Scala, which is a Java JVM-based language for our servers. And the great thing with that is Loopring's version 2 server system that Daniel Wang and their team are working on is actually written in Scala also. Right. And so we're actually using a pretty similar scheme that they are for it. We built ours from the ground up just like they have, but it's able to communicate with each other natively. And the great thing with that is we're using something called ring matching for our order matching behind the scenes. And the great thing with that is that it's built for optimization for dealing with multiple trading pairs on the blockchain. It's a special order matching scheme such that essentially we actually can conduct trades not just with just 2 people like you and I, but actually we can construct a trade between 3 people as well. And then when we submit our trades to the blockchain, we're actually submitting it in batches of more than 1 ring. So if we compose 1 ring and then there's another ring going on with potentially other people, all those get filled at once. So we're really able to optimize throughput and be able to fill more transactions per second compared to other DEXs then as well.
Wow, that's incredible. So Scala is the latest language with a Java virtual machine, you're saying, and that's obviously supported again with Loopring as well.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. Okay, tell us about with blockchain, or I guess cryptocurrency in particular, what's something for you guys see as the biggest hurdle for us to you just I guess wish people understood?
Wish people understood. I think I wish people understood that often blockchain is very much the infrastructure. It's like the internet. You don't need to understand all the details how internet packets work to use Amazon or Google or YouTube. I think right now a lot of people who are developing in the space are very blockchain focused and they like to make it the frontmost feature. But we like to see it as the backbone. It's a firm backbone to allow secure transactions. Everything else that's built on top of it needs to be able to improve the user experience, make it easier, more accessible for people.
Okay, very cool. And any other sort of favorite coins or projects that you guys have? Obviously Dolomite is all, not taking away from anything, but just is there anything else also you guys see as like, that's interesting?
Yeah, I kind of see 2 things, mainly Cardano and a project called AppCoins. Prior to working on Dolomite, I spent a lot of time as an Android developer and working on other things as well. And I see AppCoins as a really valuable project to the app developer ecosystem. And they're built on top of an app store called Aptoid, which is the 3rd largest app store in the world for Android. Well, not for Android, but 3rd largest in the world, but it's 2nd to the Google Play Store on Android.
Okay, very cool. And we have one final question, guys, that we always ask everyone on the show. It is not financial advice. No financial. We don't do financial advice.